Good evening, everyone. My name is Logan Knutson. I'm from Bowling Green, Kentucky. Right now, I'm a teacher and the head cross country and track coach at my high school. Growing up, my favorite athlete was Kobe Bryant. I admired his work ethic, the way that he approached the game. He was represented by Rob Pelinka, who was an agent at the time and later went on to become general manager of the Lakers. In this class, as a coach, I'm really looking forward to learning more about risk management, liability, and then on the NCAA level, perhaps NC athlete eligibility, NIL issues, some other stuff like that. As a coach every day, I kind of deal with policies that affect athlete safety. And as a high school coach specifically, I work with policies that will help those athletes achieve what they need at the next level. So, hoping to learn a lot about that. If I was a team manager, which I'm a head coach, so to prepare for the possibility of a lawsuit, there's several steps that we sort of have learned that we need to take. One is we need to document everything. Every single thing we do is documented, recorded. I only speak with parents through email. If I do speak with them through text, it's all saved, right? So I have all that. Second, all of our policies are very clear. They're stated at the beginning of the year. You can find them in the team contract that we send out. That's very straightforward, right? We try to be very clear about team policy. Third, the KHSAA is very clear on coaching requirements, safe schools, stuff like that. So if there's any questions on that, we can always pull up the KHSAA requirements. Those are spelled out very clearly. It's not hard to find those at all. Fourth, conflict resolution is obviously a big piece here. Typically what I look to do if I do get an angry parent email or if I'm worried about something is I involve my admin or my athletic director right away. So I shoot an email to the parent and I say, hey, let's set up a time that we can meet together with the athletic director. That gives me another adult in the room, somebody to mediate, and then it's not just me one-on-one with a family, right? Finally, I might reach out to, in my case, that would be the teachers union. Obviously, not everyone has that option, but I do. So if it was something very serious from a management and risk perspective, I'd probably reach out to the teachers union there, right? There's a lot of reasons that managers and coaches need to understand the difference between federal and state legal systems. For example, we have KHSAA rules in Kentucky, but then there's also NFHS rules, National Federal High School rules. And those are two different rule sets, two different rule books. So the laws can just vary between federal and state levels. And that affects kind of the jurisdiction of where whatever it is you're dealing with is going to be heard, right? I researched a couple cases that I thought were interesting because they kind of started at the state level. The NCAA specifically wanted to make them a federal issue, and then it got bounced back to state courts. So I thought those were pretty interesting. The first case I looked at was South Dakota versus NCAA. So this case involved the state of South Dakota. Basically, the public universities there challenged the NCAA ruling on that House settlement. So there's the House settlement, which was the multi-billion-dollar agreement that they sent out. It was about 1.8 billion. South Dakota was arguing that this settlement really only happened because of the big power schools, the big four power conferences, and small schools were being punished unjustly because of this. Okay, so it began in a state court. The NCAA tried to take this to federal court, but the major issue here was whether or not federal courts had jurisdiction to rule on the dispute. So the other issues kind of in there were NCAA governments and how settlement costs should be distributed among member institutions, but I thought that was interesting. The second case I kind of looked into was Puff Johnson versus NCAA. Puff Johnson challenged NCAA eligibility rules after he had some injuries that affected his college playing time. He argued that he should get additional eligibility through hardship waiver, while the NCAA said that its rules had been applied correctly. This involved both state and federal courts as they kind of were trying to decide where the jurisdiction for that was going to be. The key issues of that case were athlete eligibility, hardship waivers, and now that we have NIL, the impact that NCAA decisions like hardship waivers can have on NIL opportunities, right? So overall, both cases really explain why sports managers must understand the legal systems and understand the jurisdictions that they're going to fall in. As college athletics, especially, continues to evolve, sports managers need to be proactive about their team management here. They need to know the legal issues involving eligibility, compensation, governments, and athlete rights, because those are all going to become very big, not just at the college level, but we're starting to see a lot of trickle down to the high school level as well, right? Star athletes are hitting their senior year, and that's a big piece of what they're looking for. So, sports managers, not just at that collegiate level, but at that high school level as well, we're going to need to know these issues. We need to be on the front end of them, and we need to be pretty clear with our athletes about how to navigate that environment.